Welcome everybody to the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, former home of the Super Bowl, the World Series, the Olympics, and current home of the USC Trojan football, and more importantly, the Busch Light Clash. This will be NASCAR Cup Series' first contest of 2024. Let's dive in, take a couple laps around this track, and show you exactly what it's going to be like getting around this tight quarter-mile, purpose-built stadium racetrack. For this week's event in the NASCAR Cup Series, I will be racing the number 96 Wheel in the Sky MyPilotPro Camaro ZL1. Really excited about this event. Let's take this car for a couple laps around the track and see how it looks. Alright, so starting with on this racetrack, there's not really going to be any live pit stops during this event. There is an infield area for the cars that make it into the show. They can do tire changes during the break, but you're not really going to have an opportunity during 150 laps to make very many changes. This race, even though it's 150 laps, that equates to about 37.5 miles on a quarter-mile racetrack. Not a lot of tire wear that's going to happen during that time. More importantly, it doesn't really matter what you do as far as setup, aero, none of that stuff really applies here. This race, honestly, is more about aggressiveness and track position. And a little bit of bumper cars. If you remember last year's race was stopped by cautions probably about every 3 or 4 laps just for somebody getting turned coming to the corners. It's extremely tight, extremely difficult to get around here. Let's go out on the track and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So right off the bat you can see just coming off pit road how much I have to rotate the wheel. Start in first gear, we're going to hop up to second, and that's about as high as we're going to get. Hard on the brakes, these corners are very, very sharp. You over-rotate the wheel almost to get through them. Here we are at the start-finish line. Maybe about 1 or 2 seconds on the throttle before we have to stand on the brake and get into the next corner. If you get somebody on your inside, this place gets very, very tight, very, very quickly. It's very hard to get off the throttle and get this thing up to speed off the corner. You'll make laps here within the 13-second bracket. Usually about 13.5 seconds is what it takes to get around this place. As you start getting around other cars, you can see it gets tight. Oh, 6 cars stopped right in front of me. So let's try to pick a winner for this weekend's Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum. And honestly, this is a difficult one to measure just because of the way this event works. So keep in mind, on Saturday there will be 4 qualifying races. In those heats, the top 5 from each qualifying race will transfer into the main event. After that, Sunday, to start the event, you will have the last chance qualifier where the top 2 will advance into the main event, 150 laps around this quarter-mile bull ring. The last 2 races we've run here have been won by Joey Logano in 2022, and last year in 2023, Martin Truex Jr. claimed the Busch Light Clash. So it's very, very difficult to say that this racetrack and this style really fits any one car, any one manufacturer, any one team. It's very much cutthroat racing about who just knows how to navigate and be aggressive here. Right off the bat, I look at Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson as probably 2 of the best at managing racetracks like this. You've seen what those guys can do in the Chili Bowl from their dirt racing experience. If I had to pick a winner of this race, however, I'm going with Kyle Busch in the 8 car. Something about the way he ran here last year and Kyle's general aggressiveness when it comes to these races, I expect Kyle Busch to win this. We'll see how right I am come Sunday night when they run this. Don't forget, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. right here on Mosh Racing's YouTube channel, you can follow along with us as we do the NASCAR Cup Series version of the Busch Light Clash. We will be running that live right here on the channel. Tune in, let's see how we do. We've got to work our way through the heats. Hopefully we can avoid the last chance qualifier and make it into the main. And let's see how we do. Just a couple weeks away from the Daytona 500, and we'll have our next show out then. Enjoy the race this weekend, everybody.